Donald Trump's very public and long-standing desire for a Nobel Peace Prize has become a significant subplot of his presidency, blending foreign policy with personal ambition. Since returning to office, the White House has mounted a campaign arguing he is overdue for the award, with Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt claiming he has brokered, on average, one peace deal or ceasefire per month. These claims, which include mediating conflicts from Asia to Africa, have been met with a mixture of international praise from allies, skepticism from critics, and outright refutations from some of the countries involved. This pursuit is driven by a complex mix of factors: a craving for international prestige, a well-documented rivalry with his predecessor, Barack Obama, who won the prize in 2009, and a desire to cement his legacy as a consequential world leader. While his supporters point to achievements like the Abraham Accords and a brokered ceasefire between Israel and Iran as evidence of his qualifications, critics highlight his transactional diplomatic style, ongoing conflicts in regions like Gaza and Ukraine where the US is involved, and his often unpeaceful rhetoric as disqualifying. The debate over his candidacy illuminates not only Trump's political style, but also the historically controversial and political nature of the Nobel Peace Prize itself, which has previously been awarded to divisive figures, sparking debate and even resignations from the selection committee. Let us first understand the Nobel Peace Prize's process, reputation, and political attributes. The Nobel Peace Prize is one of 5 awards established by the will of Swedish industrialist Alfred Nobel. It is awarded to the person or organization who has done the most or the best work for fraternity between nations, for the abolition or reduction of standing armies, and for the holding and promotion of peace congresses. Over time, the criteria have expanded to include human rights advocacy, humanitarian work, and efforts toward nuclear disarmament. The winner receives a medal, a diploma, and a cash prize of 11 million Swedish crowns, 15 million. The nomination and selection process. The process is managed by the Norwegian Nobel Committee, a 5-member body appointed by the Norwegian Parliament. The process is highly secretive, with nomination details kept confidential for 50 years. Who can nominate? Nominations can be submitted by thousands of individuals, including members of national governments, heads of state, university professors in fields like law and history, former laureates, and members of the committee itself. One cannot nominate oneself. Timeline: the deadline for nominations is January 31st each year. The committee then creates a shortlist, reviews the candidates, and announces the winner in October. The awards ceremony is held on December 10th in Oslo, Norway. For 2025, there are 338 candidates, comprising 240 for individuals and 90 for organizations. The nomination process for Nobel Peace Prize laureates a history of controversy. Despite its prestige, the Nobel Peace Prize has a long history of controversial selections that have sparked political debate and criticism. Henry Kissinger, 1973. The award to U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and Vietnamese politician Lee Duc Thu for their efforts to end the Vietnam War was highly contentious. 2 committee members resigned in protest, and Thu rejected the award, deeming it premature. The musical satirist Tom Lehrer famously quipped, "Political satire became obsolete when Henry Kissinger was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize." Yasser Arafat, 1994. The prize was shared by Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, and Israeli Foreign Minister Shimon Peres for the Oslo Accords. The decision to award a prize to Arafat, whom many viewed as a terrorist, led another committee member to resign. Barack Obama, 2009. President Obama was awarded the prize less than 9 months into his first term for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. The decision was widely criticized as aspirational and premature, given his short time in office. This award in particular has been a source of irritation for Donald Trump. Trump's unpeaceful Nobel obsession for years. Donald Trump has publicly and privately expressed his belief that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, often complaining that he is being unfairly snubbed. His fixation appears to stem from several core motivations. Craving for recognition and legitimacy. Trump has always shown a fondness for accolades and external validation, from displaying fake Time magazine covers at his golf clubs to his frequent praise of positive media coverage. The Nobel Prize is viewed as the ultimate symbol of international recognition and historical importance, which he craves. Professor Garrett Martin of American University notes that Trump would welcome this major international recognition. The Obama rivalry, a significant driver of Trump's obsession, is his long-standing rivalry with Barack Obama. Obama's 2009 win, which Trump has repeatedly criticized as undeserved, serves as a constant point of comparison. Trump has gripped that his predecessor received the award for doing nothing and has suggested that if his name were Obama, he would have received the prize in 10 seconds. Barack Obama's winning of the Nobel Peace Prize has not sat well with Donald Trump, a tool of international flattery. World leaders appear to have recognized Trump's desire for the prize and have used nominations as a form of diplomatic goodwill and flattery. Benjamin Netanyahu. The Israeli Prime Minister formally nominated Trump, citing his work on the Abraham Accords and his efforts to broker a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. During a White House visit, Netanyahu presented Trump with the nomination letter on camera, a move that clearly pleased the president. Other nations, Pakistan, Cambodia, and several African leaders have also nominated or endorsed Trump for the prize, often linking it to his perceived role in resolving regional conflicts. After being praised by 5 African presidents, a smiling Trump remarked, "We could do this all day long." The case for and against a Trump laureateship. The White House has constructed a narrative of Trump as a master peacemaker, while critics argue his actions and rhetoric are antithetical to the prize's spirit. The White House claims on July 31, 2025, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt stated, "It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize." She claimed that since returning to office in January, Trump had brokered, on average, one peace deal or ceasefire per month. The list of achievements cited by the White House includes mediating conflicts between India and Pakistan, Cambodia and Thailand, Egypt and Ethiopia, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Serbia and Kosovo. Ordering U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, which Leavitt claimed contributed to world peace. Brokering a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. A reality check on the claims. Many of the White House's assertions are contested or lack verifiable evidence. India-Pakistan. India has repeatedly refuted Trump's claims that he mediated a ceasefire, stating that the matter was resolved bilaterally. Ongoing conflicts. The wars in Ukraine and Gaza continue despite Trump's pledges to end them, and the U.S. continues to supply weapons to Israel. Aggressive actions. Critics point to actions like wantonly bombing civilians in Yemen and illegally attacking Iran as fundamentally unpeaceful. Transactional diplomacy. Experts argue that Trump's peace through strength doctrine is transactional and focused on optics rather than transformative, sustainable peace. As researcher Emma Shortis wrote, nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize is like entering a hyena in a dog show. Nominations and betting odds. Despite the controversy, Trump's candidacy has gained some traction. He has been formally nominated by figures like Israeli-American law professor Anat Alon-Beck for his extraordinary leadership and strategic brilliance in the Gaza conflict. Betting markets reflect the polarization. Some sites place him as the second most likely winner, behind Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. However, Netanyahu's nomination for 2025 was submitted after the January 31st deadline and cannot be considered for this year's prize. The path forward. What would it take? For Trump to be seriously considered, beyond the political nominations, he would likely need to demonstrate a more substantive contribution to peace that aligns with the prize's criteria. Nobel laureates have suggested a path, albeit one that seems improbable for Trump. Eric Maskin, a 2007 Nobel laureate in economics, noted that the prize is given for discoveries in economics, not for economic policies, and that it is far too early to know the impact of Trump's policies. Roger Myerson, another economics laureate, suggested that for Trump to make a serious case, he would need to publish papers that engage with the economics literature and identify the different assumptions that have led him to choose his policies. This call for rigorous, thoughtful development of his ideas stands in stark contrast to Trump's typical approach. Ultimately, the decision rests with the 5-member Norwegian Nobel Committee. Trump himself seems to believe the system is rigged against him, a sentiment he often expresses about institutions that do not grant him favor. He has repeatedly told reporters and posted on Truth Social, "I deserve it, but they will never give it to me, and no, I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize no matter what I do." This public lamentation itself is an unconventional, if not entirely un-Trump-like, way of campaigning for an award dedicated to peace and humility.